I've been saying for a few days now that I'd be getting a DPS rotation out for a Magellana's Judgement Mystic. So here it is. Now do keep in mind that this is currently the best spec for single target DPS for all bosses, and the rotation I'm about to show you is what I've personally found to be the best for myself after doing multiple tests on the dummies. So I'm going to assume it's either the best rotation to use currently, or it's the best rotation to use considering my stats and talents that I am using. Now, speaking of dummies, I am going to be showing you how to find them yourself because I found them, and they really do help improve yourself, your skills, and actually just improving your gameplay, especially when you get yourself into raids. Now, keep in mind that when you're facing dummies, there is nothing to dodge. Now, to find them, if I quickly get the map up, we are on the island, Aerial Island. Now, there's probably dummies around, other places. I've not personally gone and checked, but this is the fastest and easiest way to get to them. And if you see this little purple house at the top, you'll see where my arrow is kind of. If you click where I am, it's like a little tree. You can click on it. Do you want to teleport to Fort Plaza? You can, but it's only going to teleport you, to where I am now. It will teleport you here. And you literally just run down here until you see, this little room that's got a purple circle in the middle. And you've got 4 dummies in each corner. Now, again, like I said, there are dummies elsewhere, but I'll be doing it over on these ones. Now, before we actually get into the DPS rotation itself, I am going to be showing you my character gear, my character stats, and even the skills, although you should have watched my Mystic guide that I did a couple of days ago. Definitely go check that out because that will help you out a lot, especially with telling you what skills you want to be using and why. But let's get straight with it. So I'll show you the skills first, actually. So I am running with the Mystic Galaxy, Force of Will, Dread Blast, and Dreadfall. I'll come to the rotation afterwards, of course. Now, going straight in to the equipment. I have a character rating of 22,492, and I'm rocking just standard epic stuff, really. And I've got one one grade 30 Crystal Waste Pendant, which is S grade actually. I was pretty surprised when I got it, but it's only a level 20 item overall, and it's not that great. But the rest is all epic stuff. It's all A grade and B grade. I have no S grade or any double S. I have no legendary gear, so there's nothing special here. I am running 2 epic gems in my weapon. If you guys haven't watched the gem guide, go watch that because that will really help some of you out, especially increasing your character rating and increasing your damage and everything else, really. So yeah, nothing too spectacular, to be completely honest, unfortunately for us. Now, if I quickly show you my character stats, I'm running 673 to 724 spell damage, 20.2% crit, spell crit, only 1 in the spell penetration, and the rest doesn't really make any difference. If you want to see my intellect, it's 310. Other than that, everything else is pretty much already been said that actually matters and that actually improves your damage. So, yeah, I'm also, I forgot to also show you my path. I am path level 35 on this, which I wouldn't suggest going past that just yet, assuming that you are watching this within the week, because after a week from today, I think it is, the server cap will be increased, so you can level the path up a bit higher, so you don't get, well, like, I'm not sure if it's half, but you get less XP if you go past the cap. That's why I've not gone past it. So, path level 35. Now, with all that said, I do want to quickly just show you my talents. I almost forgot about those. So, let me quickly go into the rune upgrades, and these are what I call talents. So, the ones that actually make a difference here is the Distress. So, obviously, level 13. I'm also level 8 in Dread. I've actually made a talent guide as well where I kind of explain why you want all these. So go check that out if you haven't. I'm telling you to check out so many videos, but it really does help you out with understanding the DPS rotation. Now, if you go to Ignorance, I do have Fearless. You don't need Fearlessness because this is actually for Variety Spirit. I made a mistake at the start. You only want Fearless. If I quickly go through to Deadly Void, I am level 21 on Void Secrets, which increases my dreadful damage, and level 12 on the Void Mastery, which decreases the cooldown. That needs some serious work, Kyle. I am working on that though. But this one here is actually massive for your damage. Now, a lot of people don't actually realize this, but this is insane. So the Arcane Realm, I got 1.7 seconds buff of increased 10% spell damage pretty much of all my skills. So that's like a 10% damage boost when I am around the little totem, and it does last for 1.7 seconds, like the duration of the buff. It does get refreshed though until obviously the totem disappears, then it lasts for 1.7 seconds before you have to reuse the Light of Sigil / wait you know, for it to come off cooldown. And Ancient Contrast increases the spell damage that increases the damage from. So instead of it being 10%, it'll be 18.5%. So that is insane. That's level 17. I will be getting that one up a bit more as well. And then the last one is... sorry, it's actually not the last one. The second last one. So I got Motivation. So this here will give me a 7% chance of getting a Void Golem, which does about 450 damage per tick. So I think that does six hits for 6 seconds or something like that. So yeah, don't quote me on that because I haven't actually tested the Void Golem itself, but I do know it does about 450 damage a tick. That isn't really needed for anything. It doesn't improve your damage, but in the future that will definitely come in handy. And the last one is actually Heart. This improves your Force of Will. So this actually improves the damage and also decreases the cooldown by 0.33 seconds. I don't know how much it increases the damage by. It hasn't really said. It just tells you what it decreased the cooldown from. But I do actually increase the damage by 10% with the introspection part. So that is the talents that I have and what I will be showing the DPS rotation with, because you will see my damage in this top right corner. Ignore that, by the way. I was just killing some stuff before this. Now, with all that covered, let's actually get into the DPS rotation. So I'm going to explain it first, and the rotation goes as such. It'll be the Light Sigil, followed by Suppression, because you want to keep Suppression on cooldown as, well, pretty much every single time, followed by Dread Blast, Mystic Galaxy, Dreadfall, Force of Will, some auto attacks, and then you're going to have your Mystic Galaxy come back off. Now, when you do use Dread Blast, you do want to make sure a Suppression comes off cooldown, so you don't spam Mystic Galaxy straight after, because you could potentially be missing out on a suppression, and that is a very big part. Now, hopefully I'm going to get a refresh here. We'll find out, but I'll try and explain the rotation as I'm going along. Now, do keep in mind I am doing this live, so it's not going to be the best damage on the meter, but it is the best rotation to keep up with. So first of all, you know, target your dummy or target your enemy. Put your Light Steel Draw down, followed by Suppression, followed by Dread Blast, reset. No, you didn't reset, so Mystic Galaxy, Dreadfall, Force of Will, and then you're just going to use auto attacks. Now, Mystic Galaxy will come off cooldown first, which we're going to use now. Then it's going to be Dread Blast, no cooldowns though. Wait for Light Sigil because Dreadfall's coming off, so Light Sigil now, Dreadfall, auto attack. Now wait for Suppression to come off. Suppression's off now because then you can use Mystic Galaxy. No reset again, Dread Blast. Unfortunately, we didn't get any resets. That is a big shame, but you can kind of see my damage in the top right corner. Dreadfall again, followed by Mystic Galaxy. Now, Light Sigil's about to come off. We want to wait for Dread Blast, so we get the maximum amount of the Light Sigil. And that will also last us through to the Mystic Galaxy, because we might as well use it now, because there's a bit too long cooldown on the Suppression skill. And also, Dread Blast will come off just after the Force of Will. Now, you kind of memorize this after you do it for so long. Light Sigil now, because nothing else is really going to help you here. So the Dreadfall will come in. You also have the Mystic Galaxy followed by the Dread Blast, and then that will disappear ready for Suppression, which is unfortunate. Maybe I should potentially delay that, or if I can try and get something in the future to, you know, decrease the actual Suppression cooldown. I'm messing up my rotation now. I'm messing it up. I'm too busy talking. I've got a refresh though. But generally, this here will give you a 3.9 4k damage rotation on the DPS meter at the top without any buffs. Now, by buffs, and we've got a Void Golem, awesome. By buffs, I'm talking about the Ranger Cry from the, the Ralliant Cry, I think it's called. And then we also have Warriors. Warriors can also buff us up as well, I believe. Don't quote me on that. I'm just going by what other warriors are telling me. Hey, take me, I can buff you and make you strong. I'm like, hell yeah, man. Why not? But no, in all honesty, this rotation in a raid situation, just, focusing purely on the damage rotation, because I am talking, and doing this whilst talking is a lot harder, trust me. You should definitely try it yourself. I'm missing my sigil now. But yeah, like I said, I do average about 3.9 to 4.2k damage here. Obviously, my resets have been pretty naff, unfortunately for myself. When you get the resets at the start, it makes a massive difference. Generally, fights don't last this long in raids. However, when you go to like Fort Desolation and the 25/40 man raids, or even the Everlush and the Chimera raids, bosses do last a little longer. So yeah, this is the kind of DPS to expect. I'm missing Dreadfall right now. Going to get Dread Blast up. And there we go. Just continue the rotation on as such. Now, as far quickly as come away here, I'll kind of try and explain why you want to use the rotation I am now, assuming that you might be using something else and you're like, hey, my rotation is better, and I'll try and explain the best as I can to why I use the rotation I do in the order I do it. So, Light Sigil, as you saw in the talents, it improves your spell power. It gives me nearly 18.5%, 19% spell power on all my attacks and all my skills, so definitely a big plus. So you want the Light Sigil on as often as you can for all of your skills whenever at all possible, when there's nothing actually off cooldown. You don't need to use it. You might as well save it, although I didn't save it during the rotation that we just did, so that was a little mistake on my part. But yeah, I definitely try and delay it for all of your skills. Next is Suppression is got to be on cooldown. It's your most damaging ability for our spec, so get that on cooldown all the time. So it comes off, click it. Now, if Dread Blast and Mystic Galaxy are about to come off cooldown, or they are off cooldown, but your Suppression is coming off cooldown in 2 seconds or less, you don't use them. Wait for Suppression to come off. Use Suppression, because if you get a reset, that is massive. Massive damage. So it's best to wait, only if Suppression's got 2 or less seconds left. Dreadful is just really big damage, but it's not worth using first like I was before. Reason being, I've got higher crit, I've got higher damage, and to be honest, I've got more chance of resetting the suppression skill as well due to my path being higher level, and I've also improved a lot of stuff in my talents. So that's another reason to why you don't want to use Dreadful first, because I've made Dread Blast super useful for me now. And what does what does Dread Blast do? Dread Blasts, as it showed in the talents, increases my chances of getting a crit rate buff. Now, what was the chance? If I quickly go in it now. So I have a 6.5% chance of giving myself the RAF status. It doesn't actually let you know when you've got it, unfortunately, which is a big shame. Maybe sometime in the future, but it does increase my crit rate by 20%. Now, that lasts for 6 seconds, which is actually quite a long time. That's enough to get your full rotation out, and Mystic Galaxy is like a 6-second cooldown, so it's a pretty decent chunk. And 20% crit actually makes me up to 40% crit, so it's insane. It really is. So that's why you want to use Dread Blast as soon as you've used the suppression, and use Dread Blast before your other skills for that one reason. Mystic Galaxy is also because it has the chance of resetting the suppression skill just like Dread Blast does. The damage it deals is nothing major, it's just for the chance of reset. Dreadful is purely for the damage, and Force of Will is just extra damage that's better than your auto attack and better than any of the other skills you can currently use. Light Sigil, obviously, keep up for all the skills possible, and then you just use the auto attack. Now, auto attack, your third hit will always do a lot more damage than your first and second hits, so try and time your auto attack just a tiny bit so you can try and utilize your damage more. It was really hard for me to do that whilst talking, so I couldn't really pay attention to what I was hitting with the auto attacks, so I do apologize. But if you try to look at your auto attacks, try and get that third one in every single time before you use the skill. It is like a 700 damage increase on your auto attack, for me at the moment at least. So yeah, that's the rundown, and that was me trying to explain the rotation that I do use. Just to go over it again: Light Sigil, Suppression, Dread Blast. Wait to see if Suppression comes on cooldown. If it hasn't, Mystic Galaxy. Again, wait for that to see if it's put Suppression on cooldown. If it has actually reset, you use Suppression immediately. And if you're really lucky, you could get 3 suppressions in the space of like 3 seconds. Then you follow up by Dreadful, Force of Will, Auto Attack, Mystic Galaxy will come off cooldown, use Mystic Galaxy, and then you just kind of rotate through the Dread Blast, the Dreadful, Suppression, you know, Light Sigil kind of, you know, etc, etc. So I do hope that this video has helped some of you out. I've got to quickly go and do my Guild Goblins now, so I will see all of you later on. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this helps a lot of you out. Take care and have a good day, or have a good night. See you guys.